Victoria Stern asks, why isn't Disgraceful available on streaming services in the USA? Victoria, it's a long story and I don't have all the details, I'm afraid, but I'll tell you what I do know. When we signed to EMI via Food Records, all the way back in 1994, we had a structured record deal, which meant that we had given EMI permission, I suppose, to release our records throughout the entirety of the world. But there was a special clause for the USA, which meant that if we got a USA release, it didn't matter what the label was. It had to be a major label, though. But if we got a USA release, then it would trigger a whole load of other nice things, and it would be almost like a separate venture to the British and European and Far Eastern releases. And we actually did get an American release through Phonogram. I think that's right. I think that's right. Our manager at the time, a chap called Steve-O, sorted that out for us, and so it all went well. But of course, what that means is that the album Disgraceful kind of falls down a kind of licensing hole where it's available to the entire world apart from the US, because, and this is where I'm speculating a little bit, the deal that was done with the record company in the US didn't include any permission for anything like streaming, because streaming hadn't been invented at that moment. To complicate things further, EMI doesn't exist anymore, at least not as a record company, and all of the rights that EMI had with over the recordings and their artists and people like Dubstar has now been worked into Warner Music Group. Now, Warners are, I'm sure, great if you're a priority act, but as I've explained elsewhere, Dubstar is not a priority for Warner Music Group. In fact, I'm pretty convinced, given my dealings with Warners, that they're not entirely clear who Dubstar is. So, couple that with the fact that we don't have management or representation, at least not for the acts out in the US. There's no one fighting for Disgraceful to be made available on the streaming services. So I'm afraid the explanation is that the album lives in a kind of complicated licensing limbo. Now, I would love it to be available in the US. I must admit, I haven't done anything to actually move this forward. I've got a suspicion that maybe Chris and Sarah have tried, just seeing what they actually have got available on the Dubstar account at Spotify. But I'm afraid I don't have any further details than that. And I know that also means that that's not likely to change anytime in the near future. Sorry about that.